Thank you, Josh. Good morning once again, and our next company for a demo is called Hap2U, which actually takes the word haptics out. For those who may not understand the term, it's actually a form of communication where people or animals communicate through touching. One of my favorite ways of communicating, actually. It's called haptics, and the technology of such is how you capitalize that into technology, and there is a new way of how screens and touch screens are evolving. So please welcome on stage right now from Hap2U is Mr. Cedric Shabazz. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Joseph, for this great introduction. So today I have great pleasure to present to you the next generation of tactile interface, because in Hap2U company we are preparing a new way to interact with tactile display. Okay, the point is that we need faster and more accurate navigation. But the point is that up to now we can only use vision and audio feedback to interact, okay? But there are many cases where we cannot use vision and audio. For example, you're driving in a car, okay? But you cannot take off the eyes of the road because you're driving to select functions, GPS and so on the touch panel, okay? So the question is how to provide this accurate information to be faster to select the function on the touch panel. And the response is thanks to Haptic Feedback. And Hap2U is developing this technology. So you have various situations, for example, for ATM, okay, ATM, you need to enter a private code, okay, to get cash. But you don't want that other people look at your code, okay. So if it's visual, it's easier. But if it's haptic code, you cannot look at because it's private information, okay. So we are really designing this new product. The aim really is to introduce the hardware technology inside touch panels in order to allow all customers, I mean companies, OEM, and people who are really keen on HMI development to develop and to imagine their own applications responding to their expectations, needs, and constraints regarding the applications they are using. So this is exactly what we are doing now. So thank you for this, this quiet introduction, and I will be happy to answer to the different questions on this topic.
Yes, well, Cedric, have a seat, and we'll talk more in depth about this. And for those who still are questioning what exactly this means, it's simply basically the next generation of touchscreens. I mean, right now, touchscreen is, the penetration rate is very high, and we're all very familiar with touchscreens. But for a touchscreen to actually give you texture, feedback, that's something that is being developed by, I would presume, many companies now.
Well, in a way, yes, but the difficulty is to really provide an accurate feedback which is really realistic and real-time, okay? So, for example, if you are moving a scroll wheel, you want it to feel it as a real scroll wheel. If it's not a scroll wheel, there is a mismatch, and it's not efficient, okay? Right. So the difficulty is really to design these real applications because the user wants a real experience enhanced. So with our technology, we are able to really design something which fits and match your expectations. Okay. You want a slider, we design and provide to you an haptic feedback, which is exactly a slider feedback. Okay.
Right. Haptic feedback or haptic technology is probably very apparent in a lot of simulators, simulation games, if you will. Not the screen technology I'm talking about, but just to give a general idea, you know, there has been a lot of racing car games that kind of gives you that jolt or vibration or maybe friction as you make a turn. That's basically what it is. But we're talking about taking that technology and embedding it onto a screen now. And like you said, there are different ways of presenting that feedback. And so Hap2U has something that's pretty unique. What is unique about it?
Yeah. When you're talking about haptic, you have force feedback. this is what you're explaining when for gaming with when you're moving right and left and so on. So this is force feedback, okay. But haptic, it's friction modulation, and our technology is really playing with friction, okay. What makes me feel the difference of this material and this material, it's because the friction below my figure is changing, okay. And our technology is changing the friction felt by the finger of a user in real time. And this is really something new. And this is something which will be embedded inside touch panels.
Yes. This, I would assume, is the next step in any touchscreen, especially smartphones and tablets. And you guys have developed, this has matured. In fact, if people go to your booth, you actually have a machine there that kind of demonstrates how that friction that you're talking about feels. So have you guys been working with major phone companies or tablet companies on this technology already?
We're starting, and to be true, to be honest, this is one of the main reasons where we are here at COMPUTEX, because the big players, the big touch panel makers, manufacturers are here in Taiwan. So for us, it's a great time, great opportunity to meet these manufacturers. So yeah, we are working to introduce this technology to these big companies.
So you are here to look for more people, investors, people who are interested in buying or using this technology that obviously is patented by Hap2U.
Yeah, exactly.
Patented by you, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, indeed. But this is really the next logical step, because we're all talking about VR, virtual reality, and stuff like that. And audio and visual is something that is already happening. And out of the 5 senses, I know there's development in all 5 senses right now to bring you more of a 3D experience, if you will, from smell, taste even. But I would think after audio and visual, and that has matured a lot over the last decade, the next logical step for 3D or virtual reality technology is going to be touch. Do you agree with that?
For sure.
It's probably the easiest one to proceed next. And I don't mean to use that term, in an easy way. I'm just saying it's logical.
Yeah. Well, if you want to provide information to user, we do believe that touch is quite efficient, because there are various situations where you cannot use vision and audio. I was previously saying about driving a car, or, for example, you're listening music with your smartphone is in your pocket or your bag, and you don't want to get it out of your pocket just to tune the volume and put it again in your pocket, because you're losing time. But with Hap2U technology, you just touch the screen and you know exactly what you're doing without looking at the screen. So this is, we believe this is really the next sense which will be enhancing the user experience on all kind of touch interface, mobile product for sure.
Right, and like you said, there's a lot of applications to it. That's just one out of many, maybe just one that people can relate to. Sometimes you're playing your music player on your phone, it's in the bag, it's in the pocket. You got to reach out and you got to look at it, and that takes your visuals off of whatever you're doing. And now through, even though it's just a flat screen, you're able to feel some texture and whatnot as if it was a physical object, and that is pretty amazing right now. Well, what other projects are you guys working on?
On many projects, because you have tactile interface everywhere now. So, for example, if you are thinking about IoT products, some more time you are thinking about smart watch. And the point is that if you put the finger above a watch, so this means that you hide almost 30–40% of the picture of the display below the finger. So the question is how to provide this information, and the response is thanks to haptic feedback. So we are working on very small surface, big surface and very small surface to provide this accurate feedback and to help the user to, for example, select functions, buttons on the touch interface.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this technology actually in my pocket ASAP, and I hope anyone who is interested in capitalizing on it, you got to look for Hap2U. You guys are also located right next to the center stage, actually.
Yeah.
And thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to add with 1 minute left here?
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here for us and to meet people which are really interested in our technology. So thanks to you can meet us in our booth on the French Tech Village area. And for sure, if you want to test and to try the Hap2U technology, it will be a great opportunity.
All right. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Hap2U, based in France, actually, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
In the French Alps.
Yes.
So we have the mountains.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
I know you like skiing.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
How'd you know? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, it's Cedric Shabazz. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, please welcome Joshua here again, and he will be introducing Lucid VR now on stage. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joseph. This is an exciting company. I had a chance to go by their booth yesterday and take a quick look at some of their VR technology. And we'll turn the time over to Joe, and he's going to introduce Lucid Cam and Lucid VR and their technology and what they're doing with it.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Hello, everyone. My name is Joe. I'm the VR Evangelist with Lucid VR based out of Bay Area. Appreciate you guys hosting us here today. So Lucid VR is all about creating a smaller world out there and making things more immersive via virtual reality and making it more accessible via a camera that's so easy to use. All you need is a click of a button. So I actually have the camera here. Here you go. It's called Lucid Cam. So with a click of a button, I'm capturing 180 by 180 field of view stereo content. So it actually stitches, syncs, and calibrates the content on board our camera. So it does all the heavy lifting. You don't have to be a stitching expert or whatnot. You don't have to go to get a PhD from Stanford or what have. This thing is point and shoot VR. And with the 180, it actually has smaller file sizes that you can actually share it much more easily with your loved ones and friends. And VR can actually go viral. So we're really excited to be here. We actually also have an app if you like to download. It's called Lucid App. It's free in the iOS and Android store. And one other thing that we did announce here at COMPUTEX was our Lucid Studios, which is a production VR arm. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Joe, for that introduction. So you're from the Bay Area, so you're from the US. Why did you come here to Taiwan?
So we actually, well, the dumplings were amazing. And Din Tai Fung actually just opened the Bay Area, and the line is so long. So I'm going the third time actually today. So besides that, we actually partnered up with Wistron, a local ODM, who's been supporting and investing in us. And so we're meeting with them and building out our camera. We're going to be shipping in Q4 of this year, but also we're looking for partners in terms of distribution, headsets, and a variety of other applications like the other presenters had said in terms of senses. We'd really like to look at other ways to partner and add other types of senses beyond audio and visual.
Great. Give us some quick stats on your company. How many people work for the company? Have you raised funding? Just quick background there.
Sure. So we have 6 full-time people and then 12 with interns and consultants. We've raised a seed round, so $2.1 million a few months ago. And we're based in Santa Clara. And yeah, we're looking to ship our pre-ordered units from a crowdfunding campaign that we hit our goal in Q4 of last year in December of this year, and then ramp to mass production.
That's great. Now, you're a finalist in a pitch competition that's going on today, or that's wrapping up today. Is that right? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so got a bottle of tequila to help wear off the nerves. But besides that, no, it's been great. It's been really awesome to interact with, like the other presenters said, a lot of people are giving a lot of interest and feedback on where their applications are, and so it's been great to have a sequential pitch competition to really be able to tailor the solution towards the active users that we've been meeting here, because VR can be applied in a variety of ways.
So take us back to the early days. Why did you start this company? Why did you choose this of all things?
So actually, Lucid Cam was, weirdly enough, so it started off as a robot, and the robot took a little too long. We were thinking about a webcam robot, so we're like, hey, this is going to take forever. So we actually ripped off the eyes. Sorry, Wally, it's a little gruesome picture, but ripped off the eyes and started developing this camera. And virtual reality was a burgeoning topic at the time. and it's just taken off from there.
So walk us through a few different use cases. Who can use this technology? It can be used for entertainment, but it can probably be used for business purposes too. So walk us through a few different use cases.
Sure. So we've come out pretty strongly on the consumer side where your grandma, your grandpa, your brother, your sister, mother can, if they can point and shoot with any other type of tech, as they've most likely learned thus far, you can point and shoot with this type of technology. So we're really targeting towards the average user. Obviously, the early adopters these days are still like tech adopters. As VR hits the mainstream, our end user really is, the late adopting tech user. But right now, we have a lot of early tech evangelists jumping on the consumer side. But like you're saying, on the B2B play, we've actually partnered and developed content for immersive marketing for companies like Sephora, Gap, Old Navy, so retail experiences to also universities. So for immersive education, Bill Gates actually at a recent conference that I was at was saying VR really will transform the education space in terms of experiential hands-on education because not everyone learns the same. So those are a few ways that we're looking to target.
So let's dive into one of those. So let's take the Gap for example. How would the Gap use your technology to sell more clothing?
Sure. Well, so they were looking at it on the immersive training side as well as, so they were showing how to dress a mannequin, how to, have a more, immersive experience from the training side, but they also had an in-person app, in-store app that they actually had walking through their San Francisco office, where the founding Gap was actually formed. So say if you go to the Arizona Gap, you can see where was Gap formed and see like it was, or like say if Starbucks wanted to show their, founding Starbucks in Seattle, it'd be a similar type of experience of their founding area.
How critical has it been for you to be in Asia to develop this company and develop this product?
I mean, it's been great. It's been so important for us in terms of the partnership, obviously, with Wistron, and also been able to drive down the cost for an affordable VR solution. As you've probably seen, there's a lot of great content creation capabilities out there, but they're not always affordable. So we really want to make VR accessible to everybody. And so being able to work with a variety of partners and be able to drive down the BOM costs is really been key.
That's great. So where can people learn more about the product? Well, let's see. Which booth are you at? You're over that way, but
yeah.
Tell us
So
a little.
I think the easiest way is we're right across the Vive. So if you want to wait for the Vive experience, you can also come out and talk to us. 6491, I believe, and across from the Vive. LucidCam.com if you want to check us out, and/or download our app. It's called Lucid App.
Okay. So one last question. How does this fit in with all the other VR technology that's coming out? Where do you see yourself fitting in compared to all of them?
Sure. So there's a lot of types of content and headsets and content that people have created, but from like an expert level, so studios and things like that. But there's nothing for the average user to be able to contribute. And so for VR to be more than just 3D TVs, we really need the masses to be able to contribute and be able to scale content creation. So we see ourselves as enabling the masses to be able to enable VR content revolution.
All right. I think that's a great way to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Josh.
We'll turn it back over to Joseph. He's going to talk with V-Glass. Thanks so much. Great to meet you.
All right, the reason I'm stunned myself is because we're looking for our guest. I just saw him. I think it's Julian, right? Is Julian around the corner? Or in the bathroom, maybe? Hello? There we go. All right. He's here with his fashionable glasses, too. Anyways, our next guest, our next company here, provides a solution that I think maybe a lot of people overlook and don't realize. Back in the days when we only had TV screens, I remember as a little kid, my parents would ask me to step away from the TV screen because of all the radiation that's coming out of it. And nowadays we're using cell phones and tablets and even virtual reality that is just centimeters away from your eyes. and we don't care. There are harmful rays out there, EMFs, for instance, electromagnetic fields and whatnot. And right now from V-Glass, we have Julian. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everybody. So our company is designing the lens. We have a special lens coating technology to protect our eyes from the screen radiation, so any tablet PC or computer and a TV also. And so, okay. And so we are also making this technology. Recently, the VR is very in the trend, so we are in the VR, we are making the protection also in the VR.
Yes.
We do some kind of film, we coat the lens inside, or we do some film, some protection. We can put in the middle of the VR to make the protection. So here is an example of our product. This is coating film we can put inside the VR. And here is our last product. It's a prototype, not yet on a market, not yet mass market. It's a kind of smart glasses. There is those lenses that protect already, but then we integrate a Bluetooth module on the frame here, and you can just pick up the phone when you're on the street. Those glasses are very lightweight. We make it as lightweight as possible. Yeah, sorry. And so they have the lens to protect, but also you can just pick up the phone like this when you're on the street and just talking. There is a microphone inside and also the speaker, and you can just hang up the phone like this, and you can tune the volume down and volume up.
It's earphones for the eyes. Yeah. Right? A microphone and earphone for the eyes with this new product.
And so, yeah, basically that's it. It's what we are doing. Okay.
All right. Julian, have a seat. Again, I think a lot of people tend to forget how damaging we are to our eyes, actually. And I'm sure you guys have done a lot of research, especially, tablet and smartphone technology has been with us for a decade. As a popular device. I mean, medically speaking, really everyone's eyesight is falling short now, damaging. I mean, what kind of research have you guys done on that?
Yeah, for 8 years already, 8 years ago, we started the research.
Okay.
And we made the first prototype 5 years ago. And we launched on the mass market 3 years ago. And it's only 1 year ago that the product was really welcome, like the public really buy it a lot. In Europe, we are selling a lot right now. Yeah. Only 1 year ago it really started. 3 years ago it was just a niche market. So people have difficulty to understand that the new screens, the LED screens, the stock maybe it's not that harmful for the eyes, but actually it is. Yeah.
But I think a lot of people can relate to, again, like using your smartphone for a long period of time, maybe at night especially, where the light is going to be even more sensitive to your eyes, that a lot of people do develop dry eyes and whatnot, and even eyesight problems in the long run. And for those who have a work environment that have monitors and screens that are more and more sophisticated now, you would highly recommend that they would wear eye protective gear like V-Glass when they're operating.
Yeah, it's also it's why we made it. It's for people working a lot on the screen, and especially for people with already having problems to the eyes, it's even more important. Yeah, and because also at night people are working late, especially in Taiwan or in Asia, people are working late. So when you are working late, it's have on the hormone. It changes the hormone, and your cortisol increase and melatonin decrease. So it makes you can't feel asleep when you get too much screen. Then you can't feel asleep all night. So,
Sure. Yeah. And like I was describing earlier, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, we have the TV tube, the TV screen. And we know there are rays that are harmful to your eyes. And that screen got closer and closer to us. Then it's the computer screen that is only less than a meter away now. And then now we have tablets that is only 30 centimeters away from our eyes. And then, of course, what is hot right now is VR technology.
VR, and it's only
and we're bringing that screen millimeters away from our precious eyes now. My question to you about that is, VR companies who develop products like this, do they not have technology embedded on their screens to protect the eye?
Yeah, I don't know why. They didn't think about this too much. They don't have it because I think they don't care much about the health. They care about the product to be amazing, they don't care about the health of public too much. They care about selling more, maybe. So.
Or they create jobs for people who want to take over that part, like you. Right, yeah.
Yeah,
but that is amazing to know. I mean, we do need to be able to protect ourselves from this kind of... What type of rays exactly are coming out, especially in a VR device like this, that are more damaging?
You mean from the screen?
From the screen, yes.
From the screen. So mainly it's blue light.
Light.
People say blue light,
Yes.
mainly, yeah. But then the mercury rays, so there is one on the green also, and yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, not X-ray or something, but
Yes, of
but
course,
the blue light is already damaging enough. Yeah, it's already damaging enough. Yeah.
You were mentioning, of course, your new product right here that has Bluetooth enabled, but also you have a film right here. This is what is used for, I suppose, for the VR box.
and I got some contact with big companies that might be interesting in using it because they didn't think about the health problem, but when we meet, and then they think, yeah, it's a good idea actually.
But every device has their own specs or their own design, and so do you customize?
Yes, so actually, yeah, we can do ODM also. So we customize with any VR, we can customize it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We can even put this technology on the lens directly. Yeah, it's just more expensive, but for some big companies, it will be the option that we choose because it's better, actually.
Well, tell us about the technology then. Is it a sort of a coating that is special?
Yeah, it's a nano coating actually. Yeah, nano coating. So yeah, very thin layer of coating. Yeah. Yeah.
And the protection it has, aside from, I think a lot of people who are familiar with eyeglasses or sunglasses in particular, UV rays is what we're protecting ourselves from the sun for our eyes. In this case, how much protection from your technology from against what kind of rays? So UV as well would be something.
There is also a UV, of course, the UV 400, but that's not the main point. Yeah, but
yeah, sure.
Then we have different level of protection. The lens, we have 4 types of lens.
Okay.
So we have from 60% to 93%. 93% is the highest we can do. Otherwise, it will be just black.
93% as in the filtration. Amount
of the rays. Yeah.
Of the rays. Okay.
Yeah.
So anywhere from 60, which is light colored or maybe transparent, more of a...
60 is almost transparent. You can't see it. It's just transparent, yeah.
And as you get higher in protection, it does get darker.
Yeah, kind of.
And it could act as a beautiful sunglass and a fashion statement if you want. And that's actually very beautiful what you just wore in. Yeah. Put it back on.
Yeah, some people think it's special, not really beautiful, but...
Right. Are you guys investing in fashion as well?
Not really yet.
There's more functionality than fashion, I know. But
we try to make some frames looking better, but we also designed the frame actually to be so that you can put it on the eyes glasses. You can wear it without glasses or also on the eyes glasses. Yeah.
Ah, right. Over your existing glasses, basically. Like how 3D glasses that we use.
Yeah.
But much better looking.
Yeah, it's kind of, but it's our own frame design.
Yes, very good. Again, It's V-Glass. You guys are from France as well, correct?
Yeah, from France.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
In Paris, our company is in Paris.
Right, right. And so not stereotyping, but therefore you guys should actually make them, you should have a fashion line of V-Glass.
Yeah, we are more than 100 frame actually, but yeah, 30 only best selling.
That's good.
30,
That's good to know. You guys been, like you said, developing this for 8 years or so, and in the last year selling.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, last year selling well, yeah, but
Okay.
3 years already selling. Yeah.
Oh, 3 years already. Okay.
Yeah, and if people want to see it, it's just in front of HTC, so they can just come to try if you want, yeah, to see the effect. Yeah.
You guys have a website. I went on it. It's in Francais. It's in French.
Yeah, but the website only in French right now. We are translating it in English right now, so maybe in a month it will be available in English as well.
And hopefully after this visit in Chinese as well. So.
Yeah, also in Chinese.
All right, again, it's Julien Valfrey, who's the Vice President of V-Glass. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Yes. And I think we have one more demo for you right here. And please welcome Joshua again back on stage to introduce iStaging.
All right, thanks, Joseph. We've got Kevin from iStaging. I also had a chance to go by Kevin's booth yesterday, and they've got some exciting virtual reality technology. They're developing a headset, but also technology that's very interesting for exploring physical spaces. But I'll let Kevin talk more about it. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you. Can you put the video on, please? Right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, at iStaging, we're basically into augmented and virtual reality, and our business is providing the professionals from the furniture and real estate industries with AR and VR apps that help them showcase and sell their products. So whether it is property developers or real estate agents, interior designers or furniture makers, they actually have products that are really hard to visualize remotely, right? How do you visit a property without actually going there in person? Or how do you visualize if that piece of furniture that you find in the IKEA store and that looks really good there because it's very carefully displayed there will really look good in your living room? So these are kind of the problems we are trying to solve. And it turns out that with AR and VR now, we have a very realistic and immersive way of showcasing those bulky products. And why it matters? Simply because with a better visualization comes a better and faster purchase decision.
Yeah, one thing I loved about seeing your technology is it's very easy to understand how it fits into your world. I mean, I can imagine myself going to an IKEA or any furniture store and they have this, and I can check out the furniture. Well, really not going to the store, but using the tablet at home and going to the store virtually, but going around my flat, my house, and seeing their furniture in my house and how it would look and how it would fit. And I love some of the measuring techniques that you had for measuring space on the screen and being able to say, okay, well, this is going to fit here or it's not going to fit here. But take us back to the early days. How did you start this company? What was the vision behind it? And where are you going with that?
Well, actually, one of our engineers, one of our core team members, he was decorating his living room, and he realized that it takes a lot of time to do that. It's very time consuming. You need to go to tons of different stores to try to find the perfect fit for your home. So we thought that it would be really cool if instead of that we could bring the stores to your device instead of you having to go to the stores. Yeah, that's kind of how we came up with the idea.
Now you have an app. You also have some glasses that you put your smartphone into, so it's those simple VR type goggles, but really the focus is on the app. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, we do manufacture the glasses, but it's really more of an accessory than really, it just makes the whole solution complete, but it's not, the focus is definitely the app, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So with the app then, who are your actual customers then? Because I can see myself using it, but I'm probably not the person paying the bill. So who's actually paying for it? Who are your customers that you're looking to connect with?
Sure. So our customers are furniture makers, interior designers. While we're just getting started, we're working with about 15 of them right now, most of them being in Europe. And yeah, so these are our target customers. We also have another side of our business is more about real estate, and then we work with real estate agents and property developers. So definitely for the end user, it's for free, obviously.
And when did the company start?
About a year and a half ago.
And how many people do you have on your team now?
We're nearly 40 now.
Wow,
Yeah.
40.
Yeah.
And where are you based?
So actually, we're a pretty global company, even though we're a young company. Our headquarters is here in Taipei. I'm based in Taipei. We have an office in the Bay Area. We have an office in Shanghai. We're opening our sales office in Paris this month, actually. So we're kind of trying to be based everywhere.
And have you raised funding, or has it been self-funded to this point?
We have actually raised a pretty sizable pre-Series A round just recently. I cannot disclose the amount just yet. We've actually raised money from very well-known investors. We'll be announcing that very soon, so just stay tuned.
Great. And what are your plans? What kind of partnerships are you looking for? Who are you looking to connect with at this show and beyond?
Well, we are working quite closely with quite a few big players in the tech industry. To us, they are very important. You know, we are right next to the HTC booth. We made a very cool demo for HTC Vive as well. We're working with Google on their Project Tango technology, which is a really cool technology. Nobody really talks about it just yet, but it's really cool too. And yeah, so all the big tech players in the tech industry are really definitely guys that we want to talk to, and yeah.
So tell us where your booth is, where people can go and do the demo. Because really, you have to go there and you have to try this on. Once you try it on, you really get a picture of what the experience is.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with AR and VR. It's so visual that you have to try it yourself to really realize how cool it is. So our demo is over there. Is right next to the Vive booth. I'm sure pretty much everybody has been to the Vive booth.
All the VR people seem to be right there, right?
Right, it's like the star of the show, so we're right next to them. Yeah, so you'll find us easily.
And what's your website so people can learn more there?
So our website is istaging.co.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you want to share with us before we wrap it up?
Well, thank you for having me here.
Okay. Thank you for coming,
Kevin.
Kevin,
So much.
and looking forward to seeing more of your technology.
Thank you.
Thank you. That wraps it up for today. We'll turn it back over to our MC.
All right. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Joseph, and for all the amazing teams up there. And now we will be having a lunch break, so please go enjoy your lunch and come back here fully charged for more awesome demos from Global Star. I will see you at 1:10 Thank you. All right. Hello, everyone. We're now back to the Pi stage at InnoVEX. In the last session, we had 6 stunning demos from Global Stars, and now there are 10 more amazing product demos and talks just for you. So please fasten your seatbelt. Let's get started. And now I will invite our first moderator, Joseph Lin from ICRT, to introduce our first startup team for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joseph Lin.
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to InnoVEX and our Demo Stars Global demo time again. This was going to be another exciting hour and a half of new startups and new products and new innovations right here. My name is Joseph Lin. I'm also a DJ at a radio station in Taiwan, maybe you guys know as ICRT. And I'm very happy to be a part of this technological fair. First off right here, this is something that really surprised me. And you guys all know what Fitbits are, right? The wearable technology to track your movements and whatnot. Well, they are in this industry, but not your typical Fitbits. Please welcome on stage right now from CONNECTERRA. It is Niels Molenaar. Please give us a brief overview of what you guys do. Thank you. Yes, give him a big round of applause.
Thank you. So by 2050, the world population will increase it to 9 billion people. So at CONNECTERRA, we try to solve this problem sustainably. To feed all these people, we need an increase in food production of about 60%. Milk is a valuable source of nutrition, yet more cows is not the answer. We need more milk from fewer cows. farmers actually told us that in order to increase the health of a cow, they need to watch the cow more closely. And when you watch the cow more closely, you can increase the milk yield from 10 kilos a day up to 40 kilograms of milk a day. So how do you watch the cow more closely? This needs a lot of labor. However, this is where we come in. We created a Fitbit for cows. So we have a platform with a sensor, which is a 3D accelerometer, which looks like this, which is around the neck of a cow. And we then use deep learning to analyze this data and transform it into behavior. So we actually understand when the cow is walking, drinking, eating, ruminating, etc. We then send this information into the cloud and we process it into insights, which actually means we can point the farmer to specific cows that need attention. So we can actually tell the farmer, this cow needs attention, this is what's going on, this is why it happened, and this is what you need to do to solve it in order to increase the health of the animal and in order to increase the production of milk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is amazing. I feel unfair that I don't have a Fitbit myself, but all these cows are having one now. It really is. What's going on? I need to get mine. But how did you guys see the need for this? I mean, there's a lot of livestock out there, you know,
right.
You know, from chicken to pork, pigs, and cows. Why cows?
So cows are actually quite interesting because the effect of health on their milk production is actually huge. So if you take a cow and you take really good care of it, it becomes a lot more profitable. And we see that there's a lot of farmers who don't really have the knowledge or the experience to make sure that the cows are healthy. So we help them. And then because of the huge increase in milk, there's a huge financial benefit to this as well. So that means that in the case of cows, and dairy cows specifically, it makes sense to invest money in technology to increase their health.
I suppose it does make sense. And I think logically we should understand that, you know, raising cattle or cows is probably one of the most expensive ones out of all,
yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
But did your founder have a lot of knowledge in agriculture and farming? Is that how this started? How did this whole idea come about, though?
So our founder, Yazir Kokar, he worked for Microsoft for a couple of years.
Okay.
And then he moved to the Netherlands. And in his backyard, he could see all these cows walking outside, which is kind of similar to the view you have right there.
Okay.
And then because of his previous experience with IoT,
Yes.
he thought, you know what, we should make something where we use IoT on these cows. And then he gathered a group of people. So we've got data scientists who do the analysis. We've got software developers. Timo is our UI UX designer. And I myself have some experience in the agricultural sector. I've worked with agricultural companies before. And together we kind of created this idea and gave it shape and made it into what it is today.
Yes. My understanding that whether it be dairy or cattle, the biggest markets right now are probably, I think Brazil is a big market, India is a big market.
Right.
Is that where you see the highest, where are the highest demands for this right now?
So if you look at Brazil, it's a big beef market.
Yeah.
Yet in the size of dairy, it's not that big.
Okay.
India is a big dairy market. China is a big dairy market.
The US
Netherlands
has a
and
big,
then the US
yeah.
and Canada, those are really big dairy markets. So if you look at, you take the US, Canada, and Europe, then you've got the gist of all the milk being produced in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your target right now, isn't it?
Right, right.
Is it in, I mean, it's in use already, is it?
So we developed it in a sense that it's on trial basis right
Yes,
now.
okay.
So there's a couple of farms in the Netherlands and in Pakistan. So we took climates that are really far apart so we can really understand the differences there. And we're running these trials for months now together with universities and veterinarians to make sure the system is accurate. And then by the end of the year, we expect to go commercial.
All right. Now, CONNECTERRA, responsible for manufacturing this apparatus, this device, but also data crunching. Is that part of the company's agenda?
So basically, we're a data company. What we're really good at is transforming data into information, and in this case, into insights. So if you look at our company, most of the people who work at CONNECTERRA, they're data-driven, right? So we've got lots of people with PhDs from Stanford and other universities who really create these complex artificial intelligence algorithms and really transform this data into insights, which is also what makes us unique. If you look at other products currently in the agricultural sector, is that people tend to focus on the hardware, but they leave the interpretation of the data with the farmer, which is, in our vision, which is a big mistake because the farmer is not a data scientist, right?
Correct.
He needs to take care of his animals and he doesn't need to analyze all these graphs.
Right, so the content and then the analysis of that data, of course, is most important out of all this.
Yeah.
And you guys are the experts and have the expertise in this.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead and explain to us again what are some of the improvements. You talk about production of milk, perhaps prevention of diseases or whatnot. Give us a full detail rundown on that.
So one of the features that we have in our product is estrus detection, which means that if you inseminate the cow on the right moment so that she gets a calf, you can save a lot of money. So generally, traditionally, farmers have to look at their cows, see when they're in heat, and then inseminate them. But they generally miss a couple of these moments, which is very valuable. So if you look at research that's been done already, is that if you do accurate heat detection, you can actually save a farmer over $250 a year already. And then on top of that, we add all these other features. So we can add detection of diseases in a very early stage. So for example, with cows, a very known disease is rumen-acidosis, which basically means that you give a cow the wrong diet, right? She gets diarrhea, in a sense.
All right.
And generally, you only found out after a couple of days. And then milk production goes down, and you're wondering what's going on. And we can actually tell these things very early on. So we can prevent these dips in milk production.
Awesome. Now, this, of course, we're talking about cows, we're talking about dairy, cattle. Are you guys going to apply this to other usage?
So for now, dairy cows is a really big challenge by itself, right? We're a small team, and there's lots of improvement to be gained already. So currently, we're just focusing on this and want to make a really good product. But of course, I mean, in the end, we just, like I told you in the beginning, we want to solve big problems, right? We want to solve problems like hunger and all these things. So we will scale, but in which direction and what way, we don't know yet. So one step at a time.
This visit here to Taiwan at COMPUTEX right here, what do you expect to get out of?
So we've been invited, so we've been very happy to get here and to be able to get a booth and present our stuff. So what for us is really interesting, once we go commercial, we have to scale. Right, and once we scale, we need to find companies that can help us develop our product, which is currently, it's a little bit more than a prototype, but it's not completed yet, into something that can be reliably and accurately and in large scale be produced. So we're trying to feel the waters and see what's possible.
Right, all right. This is pretty fascinating, and technology being applied to good use right here.
Thank you.
And any last words you want to add to our video cam that's going on live stream right now, or to our audience right here?
Well, cows are cool.
Cows are cool, that's right.
And if you want to get a sticker with that, get it.
You guys have a lot of stickers right here.
Exactly, go get it at our booth.
Cows are cool, and cows are around us all the time. CONNECTERRA, this is going to be the new cowbell for the 21st century.
Right.
Instead of cowbells, they will have these devices around their necks all the time.
Great.
Thank you so much, Neil.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. Up next, please welcome back on stage our second moderator, Joshua, with Looking Glass right now. Thank you.
On yet? There we go. All right. Welcome to the stage. And my name is Josh Steimle. I am based in Hong Kong. I run a digital marketing agency there. I also host Startup Grind Hong Kong. And today I have the pleasure of talking about Looking Glass here. I stopped by their booth yesterday, and it's fascinating 3D technology. And they have exciting products right now, but they have very exciting places that they're going, but I'll let you get into it. Sean.
Hello. I'm Sean. I run Looking Glass. Looking Glass is a volumetric display startup based in Brooklyn and Hong Kong, and we are chasing the dream of the hologram. To frame this, before I show you the products we have now and talk very briefly about the products coming down the pipe, there is a battle emerging. It is a battle between a future in which people are geared up 100% of the time of their waking hours, and an alternative future in which occasionally you can gear up if you need an immersive VR, AR experience, but most of the time you can interact with three-dimensional content with your family and your friends, people in labs, people in schools, without having the friction of gearing up. So having a three-dimensional volumetric display that you can see 3D content in and interact with that content without having to put on headgear. We've been doing this in a couple stages so far, and a third stage in the background. Stage 1 has been creation of a volumetric print. There's no frog in this box. Your eyes deceive you. It is actually made up of layers of printed lucite, which time's up. Layers of printed lucite, millions of points of ink that give the illusion of a three-dimensional frog. What we do in Looking Glass is we have been trying to figure out how to make this volumetric print dynamic and change, so replacing the ink in this print with light. You can pass that around. And I'm going to show you this real quick before shutting up. This is stage 2, and this is a very simple volumetric display that we call the L3D cube. It is a 3D LED cube made up of 216 points of light. You can control these, you can share code with other people. It's the first shareable volumetric display in the world. We have 3 versions of it, and it's let us build a prototype community of folks that can share 3D content, not on screens, but in an actual volume of space. The third stage that we're developing combines the resolution of the volumetric prints with the dynamic qualities of the L3D cube. So stay tuned.
All right. So as you're passing that frog around, take a good look at that. It's great. You look at it, you see a frog, you turn it sideways, you see nothing because there's just those layers. And so this box right here, this is a very rudimentary prototype compared to what's coming down the road, because eventually you're going to have essentially TV screens that are 3D like that frog that you'll be able to go up to, and it's going to look like you can touch something inside that screen, right?
That's right. So if you can imagine the very abstractness of this L3D cube animation, instead of having 200 points of light, it has 1 million or 2 million or 10 million points of light. Then you can see CT scans, MRI data, 3D microscopy, depth video.
This is awesome. So take us back a little bit. Where did this all come from? What was the original idea that led to this?
So personally, I always wanted to have holograms. My parents got me a book called the Holography Handbook. If anyone's a holographer, you have this handbook as well. And it shows you how to build a vibration isolation sandbox, make holograms in your high school bedroom. So I made holograms of the traditional sort. They were kind of disappointing. They weren't dynamic, they weren't full color. They didn't have the dream of the cinema hologram. So personally, I wanted to chase that dream down a different technological avenue, which is volumetric display. And the others in our company, Looking Glass, share this desire to achieve the dream we've been promised for so long in movies like Minority Report, Star Wars, etc., and have never been able to actually achieve.
So let's talk about the product that you've got today, this box here. This is open source. You can hack it. You can do whatever you want with it, essentially, right? It's for sale right now.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about the applications that somebody might use this simple box for, at least what you've seen.
Sure. So more than you would think. I think all transitions in communication that are as big as the one that we're about to step into, they usually start as novelty, as toys. So this is a really cool toy. You can create three-dimensional content in our hacker version of the system, which is about twice as big as this one. You can download new 3D visualizations, some that react to music. I'm whistling. Some that react to music, so people can put them in clubs and basically impress your friends and become popular showing off what you have created. This is the only 3D LED cube system that can be assembled in under 30 minutes without soldering skills.
So this is reacting to us talking right now, right?
Yes.
I mean, you see our voices are affecting that, right?
Yep.
Cool. How much does one of these cost?
So retail is $199. You can get them on our website now. There's a special deal just this week for the show. And if you come by our booth, we might have another little special deal for you. Of course, we're doing quantity sales as well. So just shoot me an email if you're interested in large quantity orders. Thousands of the other previous systems that we have created which are at our booth, have been sold already in the MoMA store. They've been featured in Time Magazine and so on. So people love them, and we're going to keep pushing it.
This is so cool. I want to get one of these for my kids so they can start hacking into this and doing stuff. They would love this. But yeah, this is a simple prototype compared to what's coming down the road. So as you make progress towards getting to more of this ultimate form of technology, the screen that's kind of 3D, what are some of the applications for that? Obviously, home entertainment, in-store type demos, things like that. But what are some other applications that might not be as obvious?
This is a really unusual point in the evolution of information, in which there's a vast amount of three-dimensional information that cannot be viewed three-dimensionally. So this is medical data like CAT scan, MRI, 4D ultrasound, 3D microscopy data where you want to have a group of kids look at a drop of water, not through a pulled focus of a traditional microscope, but have that drop actually blown up 1,000,000 times in size so you can see it living inside of a volumetric display. Those are some of the applications in the education and medical field, and there's obvious applications in consumer down the road once people have depth cameras in their pocket, which is going to happen very, very, very soon.
This is great stuff. So how does this merge with the whole world of VR? Where do you see the overlap, the fit with that?
So I love VR and AR systems occasionally. I think I read somewhere, someone described them as a trampoline. So they're fun to buy and use occasionally, but you don't want to walk to work on a trampoline every day. That's how I view three-dimensional content. And volumetric display is going to be the workhorse of how people interact with three-dimensional content when they don't want to have the full immersion of a AR or VR headset. So I think these things will be complementary. I actually think VR is going to be isolated to gaming. AR will be a more expansive system that people do generally have in their homes and workplaces. And then a third branch, which not many people are talking about yet, but will, is volumetric display. So these three branches will exist.
Great. So where's your company at today? How many people are on the team? Have you raised funding?
Yep. So 9 full-time and 10 part-time, basically evenly split between our lab in Brooklyn. We're in an old glass factory there. Nice how that worked out. And in Hong Kong. And we've raised funding, so we're not seeking funding now, but always happy to talk to people about interesting applications that they see and partnerships for this technology.
Great stuff. Any last words you want to, anything we didn't cover that you want to say?
Nope. See you in the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you. We'll introduce now our third moderator, Mr. Angel Garcia, and he's going to be introducing us to the company Wondervoice.
Thank you, Josh. My name is Angel Garcia. I'm from Startupbootcamp. Startupbootcamp is a global network of accelerators. We have programs all around the world. I'm also an investor in startups like the ones that we are seeing today here. I would like to welcome on stage to Gal, yes. Yeah, from Wonderboys.
Hello.
Welcome, a big applause. How are you?
Getting better every minute.
Okay, good. So please tell us, what are you doing at Wonderboys?
Okay, great. So, hello everyone. At Wondervoice, we are building contextual speech operating system for the era of the Internet of Things. It means that we are envisioning, basically building, a product that can fit any device and make it speech and voice interactive. By voice interactive, we mean that it can respond to your voice, but it can also initiate conversation with the person. So it's a full hands-free, eyes-free type of speech interface that gets any device to become alive. Our solution can be deployed through any type of smartphone application, but also can be embedded on top of a device and be independently speaking and interacting with the user. We are enabling a full suite of backend support of applications and services. So in the end of the day, any type of hardware manufacturer will have an end-to-end solution that will be able to interact with his users. Our own proprietary technology is how we are leveraging data and context in order to enhance the performance of speech engines. It means that we get to have a personalized speech interface that is tailored in real time per user inside his device. It means we're crunching a lot of data, but we are getting to know the user on the fly. It means much more accurate interaction. It means much more personal interaction. Today we know to show benchmark comparing to leading voice assistants that personalization is so powerful that when other voice assistants are failing, we're able to complete the task very accurately because we know the user and we know the context of his engagement. Maybe that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Probably the first question, and probably it's not the first time that you got this question, is this is another city or something like that? What makes the difference? What is unique about Wonderboys?
Well, great question. Well, two things. First of all, Wondervoice was designed from day one to be a hands-free and eyes-free type of interface. You can see that Google and Siri are enabling a solution that usually brings back visual information after you are asking specific questions. Second of all, what we have created is very powerful, the concept of personalization of the speech interface. Comparing to other more generic way of understanding the user, we've built a very unique architecture that allows embedded computing together with cloud computing to better understand the user and the context of the dialogue of the device and the user. By that, we are making that personalization and our capability to handle unpredictable content or unpredictable scenarios in a way which is much more robust and is more relevant for the real life. For example, we are the only solution today that enables true hands-free and eyes-free interaction with social networks in which the content in those sources of information is totally different from your channels, from my newsfeed, etc., etc. It means that we can adapt to the user content in real time and allow him to fully interact with his timeline, with trending topics, to reply to tweets, to like, to favorite, whatever, everything done by hands-free. So there's a major difference in the way that we see the end-user interaction, in a way that the assistant is also an always-on and not responding to user queries. And it means that it actually escorts the person on his daily activities and is always available for him, but can always be monitoring important information sources and is able to bring the information on the relevant functions to the user before he actually asks for it. And that's a more cognitively more simple if you're thinking about an always-on assistant that works always on your earpiece or maybe always in your home. So clearly it will respond to your voice, but sometimes it will find the right opportunity to tell you about things that are important before you actually ask for it.
Well, now listening your answer, I think that you are probably even much more than a voice, right? I mean, you are like an artificial intelligence behind what we are doing, people, or you are tracking what we are doing every day, and you are there in order to suggest or to recommend something. So I guess that the technology behind is well related with artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yeah? Tell us about the technology.
Well, it's very much hybrid technology. We have a machine learning type of algorithm running on the cloud side and a very personal AI running on the client side. And what our core technology is about combining that knowledge of generic and the knowledge of the personal information. And that's our uniqueness in that field. And AI is coming into a place in so many levels. First of all, it's by the identification of the meaning of our interaction and making it valuable also to the speech interface, because it's very much the concept of speech and intent and AI understanding is very much tied together. And we were able to combine the local knowledge and the cloud knowledge in order to get the AI in a point that it's not only smart on the personal level, it is enjoying years of smartness on the cloud side as well. So in terms of expecting or let's say predicting information, today, for example, on our mobile solution on iOS, you can reach out and always ask for specific parking information or real-time availability of parking spot. But we're working also on a solution that, once you are getting out of your home, we'll be able to predict that you're about to drive downtown, which is not your office place, and to upfront reserve parking for you. And that's just a glimpse of what we're working on.
Okay, good, great. What's the current status of the product? I mean, you are in the market, you have the app, and what are the business cases? What's your revenue model? Tell us a little bit, how are you planning to make money?
Well, we started basically on the mobile space. So the company established in 2011. A couple of years ago, we started in the mobile space. We had an application that was Wondervoice for Facebook, mostly hands-free interaction with Facebook. We got to the top 10 in the US and top 10 in Canada. And afterwards, we made a little change in the mobile space. But we are currently very much focused on the home environment and on embedded devices. So the target is, again, to have an AI type of solution that can empower any type of hardware device that has connectivity, speakers, microphones. But from that point on, it will only rely on Wondervoice to create interaction and enable the functions of that specific device. And also while connecting to different IoT devices inside the home environment. And the concept is to be more relevant, more intuitive for the user to interact with this complex of information. So that's where we're moving next.
So how are you planning to make money?
So
that's my question.
By basically licensing our software to hardware or product manufacturers, that's the main strategy in terms of go-to-market.
Okay, so seeing guys like Google or Amazon releasing the artificial intelligence and other open platforms in the IoT space, how do you fit over there? I think it's a threat, it's an opportunity.
Well, first of all, the whole concept of the connected home and voice assistant, let's say, interaction, the fact that Google and Amazon Amazon specifically, are doing well, and Google are entering to the market, it shows that there is a major opportunities. And we definitely see that in terms of demand and in terms of queries, in terms of specific brands that wish to enter that market and hardware manufacturers. So it shows that speech has a valid space in the home environment, in the wearable space, and it shows that a lot of products will have speech enabled as a default user interface. So not everyone can enable Google on their product, and most certainly Wondervoice has a very unique feature set on top of that. So we see that as an emerging market with a lot of opportunities. And the ecosystem is fascinating, so we cannot say how things will be, how the strength of the market will shape that type of ecosystem. So, but we definitely see a lot of opportunity on that field.
Okay, so time is over. I agree. I think that the space is fascinating, and you will find the right product fit and market fit for your technology. Guys, if you want to speak more with Gal, I guess that you have a booth here. Go and find him. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
So we continue now with the next startup. So your time.
Thank you so much, Angel. All right, here at InnoVEX, we're going to get into innovation of style and design for your PCs. We all know that Apple and the Macintosh and MacBooks have capitalized on style and design, but PCs have never been known as pretty computers. So with me right now, based in Germany, in Munich, he is the CEO of MODINICE. Please welcome Mike Finch. Please give him a round of applause, please. Oh yes, you brought an actual working model of your product. Okay. There we go.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good being here. Yeah, my name is Mike Finch. I want to talk with you about something that everybody knows. Everybody of you knows the desktop PC. But the desktop PC actually has been around for 30 years without a big change. It's for 30 years, not so fast, please. For 30 years, it looks basically the same. It's a box, an ugly box with a lot of cables. And I don't know how about you think, but I hate cables on my desk. So there was one pretty famous company who was thinking about that, and they came up with a pretty nice idea with the Apple. It was a company Apple with the product iMac. What they did, they invented the all-in-one PC, and by integrating the PC in one monitor. So everybody loves that device because it's a very beautiful device. But I think this design has some disadvantages in nowadays, because many people want to have the freedom of choice in their monitor. So many people are also working with two monitors. So we started thinking about beyond the all-in-one PC. So we start basically where Apple stopped. So the result is what we have invented is basically, we took the best of both worlds, of the traditional desktop PC and the all-in-one design, the beautiful all-in-one design. So what you can see is we integrated the PC, pointer's not doing, I show it here.
Yeah, we can just talk about it, that's fine.
We integrated the PC in a stand of the monitor. Yeah, so you have the full flexibility in either using your existing monitor, one monitor, you can mount two monitors, you can even mount a curved monitor. So the choice of the monitor is completely up to you, but still you have the beauty of an all-in-one design, even with using two monitors. In addition, we have a wireless charging area here on the top, because I'm sure it's the same with you guys. If you come to your office and you sit down, the first thing you do is you pull out your cell phone and put it on the desk. So then you can put it here on that area and it's going to be charged. So, and even if you work in front of two monitors, the only cable you will see is this. It's only one cable. It's a combined cable that splits into a power cable and the network cable. So normally, if you're using two monitors, you have minimum 6 cables, 2 for each monitor and 2 in your PC. And like I said, I hate cable spaghetti.
Yes, indeed, yeah. All right, so basically an all-in-one solution here. Again, making simplicity part of the beautiness of this design. And functionality right here, whether you brought here with us is the 2-screen design. But normally, a lot of people, I think the majority of people still uses a 1-screen design, and you have another model for that for sure. I'm going to go ahead and ask a bold question right here. You're right. PC's been around for more than 3 decades right now. And the majority of people still use PC, and most of them are the bulky boxes that you have with all the cables. But I think over the last 2-3 decades, there has been a lot of attempts in trying to simplify PC boxes into what you have here. What makes you think MODINICE right now different? There has been attempts on this before.
Yeah, there has been some attempts as well. Like many are start using now the mini PCs.
Yes.
Yeah? But the mini PCs, for instance, they are all using a notebook technology. And the notebook technology is just not as powerful as this. We are using standard desktop PCs, CPUs, so we have full-fledged quad-core power in that workstation. And the mini PCs, for instance, they cannot do that.
Okay.
Another attempt, what many people do is that they are using a docking station for their notebook. But I think today, I mean, we are in the world of cloud computing. So we have our data synchronized in the cloud. Yeah. So you have the possibility to use the device who is always the best in what you're doing right now. Like
Correct.
if you are, you have a cell phone in your pocket, you can check your emails there. Yeah. If you're traveling in a train, you're sitting on a notebook and you check your emails and you have your data on Dropbox, you can work there. When you're in the office, you want to have a full-fledged workstation.
Yes.
So you can work on your emails, on your data there, because everything is synchronized. It is just not necessary anymore to plug and unplug your notebook in a docking station off and on. So it's not necessary anymore.
Yes, yes, and that's the way IoT is going right now. Exactly. But so basically what you just explained right here, I think through the demonstration and slides that you just talked about in the beginning, we're very fond of the design of the system, but you guys are actually selling the computer, the actual computer. You guys have existing models with Intel Core systems and whatnot. The hardware part of the computer is something that MODINICE is also doing, correct?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we manufacture is the bare bone. And of course, in the bare bone, due to the fact that you can use standard components like a standard desktop CPU, any kind of hard drive or SSD, any kind of RAM. So it's very easy either for system integrators to assemble, to tailor a PC to customer needs. Yeah? So, or we do it. Of course, we also offer pretty standard models. So we have one typical i3 model, one typical i5 model, and a full power i7 model. So we offer that as well, of course.
Okay, so it's both markets basically. You have the ready-to-go package with the hardware, and like in your brochure right here, there are 3 different models, and then there's the bare bone, like you said, where it's very customizable, and that's where the advantages that you talked about versus Apple. I mean, Apple does make a beautiful computer, but the main drawback is you have to use what they give you.
Exactly. So here, even service, like if you have those in companies, of course, sometimes, hey, I need a new hard drive. My hard drive is too small. Hey, easy. You just open the box. You open the PC on the back, take out the old hard drive, yeah, put in a new one. So it's very easy to service. Standard components, easy to service.
Yes. So currently, these systems are available for purchase. On the consumer level, I'm sure, but I'm sure you're looking more on business purchases and distributors. Is that what one of the purposes of MODINICE is right now?
Consumers, I mean, they're happy with a tablet, yeah, or maybe their notebook, ultrabook or whatever. So the market, the target group for these kind of product is companies. Yeah, so it's a typical B2B product. So what we are looking for is, we look for resellers, we look for system integrators, we look for distributors, who are willing to offer to their customers something new that combines basically, like I said, the beauty of an all-in-one design with the flexibility of the good old desktop PC.
Because currently you're in a country that is known for desktop PCs, that has been manufacturing them over the last 30 years. And has made Taiwan the IT, world country that it is. So, what do you look for? Any collaborations here with Taiwan companies, or you want distributors? That's all. What is the agenda for MODINICE in Taiwan?
Well, for Taiwan, it's the worldwide the biggest hardware show, and of course we look for worldwide distributors in any part of the world, but also we look for like marketing cooperation. In Germany, we have a successful cooperation, for instance, with the monitor manufacturer NEC.
Okay.
They build the monitors, we build the PCs, so we go hand in hand to the customers, and we can offer a total package, neck, is very happy because they sell 2 monitors and we sell 1 PC.
Right.
So it's a very fruitful marketing cooperation, and of course I'm looking forward to tailor these kind of cooperations here as well.
Yes, this is awesome. I think I need something like this in my home as well, so I'll talk to you personally about that.
Yeah, we're very
but Mike,
welcome.
any last words you want to say to our audience right here? Anything else you want to add?
Well,
place one of these in your offices and homes, right?
Why not?
MODINICE, modern and nice.
Yeah, modern and
That's
nice.
what it stands for, isn't
is.
it? Yeah, based in
Exactly.
Munich, Germany.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you,
CEO of
everybody.
MODINICE. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks, Joseph.
Thanks, yes. All right, we got Joshua that's back here to introduce our next innovation company. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Our next company is NUWE, and we've got Steve, who will be introducing his company to us, and then we'll get into a discussion about it.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Steve. I'm CTO at NUWE. And we make technology personal. So we are entering a new phase for applications that are being brought to market. At the moment, you're hearing everything about chatbots and Amazon Echo services and all of these new things that are bringing increasingly personalized experiences to people. But in order to create these types of applications, we believe a new toolkit needs to be made available to developers that moves us away from the generation of applications that we've been building and into this new phase. And so how do we do that? We have a developer platform that's really broken down into 4 main areas, and we can talk a little bit more in detail about each of those. But essentially, the data stores, so really getting your data into the cloud without having to over-invest in back-end development resources and teams too early in your product development cycle. Connecting devices, and getting that data available with REST APIs that you can start to do stuff with it. Then logic engine, so you can create rules-based actions and triggers on that data to start to experiment with scenarios for your users. But then you realize that that doesn't scale particularly well, so you need to leverage machine intelligence, artificial intelligence, machine learning technologies and capabilities to engage your users and finally get those experiences into the hands of your users. And we provide frameworks and libraries and SDKs for developers to integrate these so into messenger interfaces or distribute them via messenger, existing messenger platforms, which is where your audiences are. In terms of where we apply this currently, we're very much focused in health, wellness, fitness, sports industry. Also into medical. We're increasingly working with embeddable technologies that are fashion-driven rather than fashion as an afterthought. So as a company, we're very excited about opportunities in that area. And in terms of the phase that we're at, the traction, etc., we have 90,000 end users that are registered in our platform through our clients' applications. And we are bootstrapped, and we are actively selling sort of fuller, complete services where we're actually helping our customers design and implement their applications, their new experiences for their customers and using our technology. And we're doing quite nicely at that at the moment. We have a healthy sales pipeline and everything. So we're very excited about the year ahead and the coming years. So yeah.
All right, thanks for that intro, Steve. So I know there are a few people, at least in the audience, who are sitting here thinking, all right, so NUWE does a bunch of technology stuff and it helps companies. But break it down a little bit for us. Who are your customers? Who is actually using this technology that you provide?
Cool, so a great example, actually, if you walk over in the hall over there, one of our customers is also exhibiting. You should check them out. I'm going to pitch them, actually, first. They're a company called BlueSense. They're a Danish company with a great technology doing blood analysis for type 2 diabetes, dengue fever. And they have a next generation medical device, uses Blu-ray, DVD technology to do all this smart stuff. And they're, biochemists, and they're invested by Quanta here in Taiwan. And that's what they know, that's their core. But they don't know too much about software, and particularly user-centered, personalized service delivery. So they partner with a company like us to imagine what those services are going to be in the future, to leverage our platform so that they can focus all of their investment, their resources, and their team into actually building their core IP, their core technology, and partnering with us to realize the broader digital service that they offer to their audience. And that's a great use case for us.
So it sounds like you're a combination of software and services, is that correct?
At the moment, yeah. I mean, it was a strategic direction we took actually end of last year, where we realized that actually, even if you have our technology, a lot of these applications are quite new. It's a new paradigm, and there's some learning that has to take place. And either we sit around and wait for that learning to take place, or we're at the forefront of it and we're pushing it. And it's an area we like, and we're very good at it as well. So there's real value in that service. So it avoids us having to run around after VC money and angel money, and actually we can continue to own and build our own company, which I think is often overlooked in these startup kind of environments, is that actually if you can continue to control your own destiny and get deep learning and deep engagement from your customers, then there's real value in that.
So how many customers are you working with at the moment? You said you have 90,000 users, but I assume some of that...
Yeah, we're working, as I said, deeply with fewer customers than the kind of public SaaS offering kind of model. I mean, our platform is there, it's being used, we use it ourselves internally with our customers. So, we have an active roster of a dozen to 15 clients that are building solutions in budget scale ranging from $20,000 to $50,000 for the sort of application sort of things. And then we have an office in Milan where we're also exploring fashion, and we're working with a number of fashion brands in their digital service offering and products, and those projects are ranging anywhere between 500,000 and 2 million kind of euro budget range. So there's a real kind of rich tapestry of opportunities that we're exploring at the moment.
Now, we often don't think of fashion or the fashion industry using technology, but there's a lot of technology going on behind the scenes. Tell us a bit more how fashion companies are using your services and your software to help them run their businesses.
So there's two angles to that. One is, yes, using technology, but actually understanding user engagement and functionally integrated kind of services that aren't necessarily all about the product. They're about things within lifestyle of their customers that can help engage the community, and they're really interested in all of these kind of dynamics. But it's an exploration for them. So we're helping them navigate that strategically, experiment with different ideas using our platform without having to overinvest. And the second part is actually, rather than the fashion tech efforts that are coming out of the Valley, which is tech first, fashion after, we have Italian fashion designers from Prada and Christian Louboutin really driving the fashion first and thinking about how to use the emerging technologies within the product design process. And that's quite a shift.
So what's a problem that a fashion company might have that you solve?
But the biggest problem is there's a fear, there's a risk that their business is going to change without them going along with that change. And there's very few companies set up like us with the mix of skills and experience and core technology that can offer them a way to navigate this massive shift in their business. For some, it's going to affect them now, it's affecting them now, it's affecting their business. The larger brands obviously have a little bit more flexibility where they can fall back on brand value, but it's going to happen, at some point for them. So, that's the biggest way, is that they need help figuring it out, and they need the tools and the resources, the capabilities to do that.
Now, you said you have a partner in the business who focuses on fashion. Your specialty is more sports and health and such. What are some of the problems there that your software is solving for customers?
Yeah, and we really started from the health and fitness wellness side. So there's a number of areas where we're tackling with our customers. So corporate wellness is a big area. So companies that really want to understand return on investment in corporate wellness programs and initiatives, being able to figure out the roles of wearables devices and all this kind of health data that sits in different buckets and is all kind of fragmented and isolated, and avoiding this like awkward conversation when the CEO goes, oh, I'm going to buy everyone a Fitbit, and we can start tracking your health data, and then, you know, that's not a great tone to kind of set. We're helping them by abstracting out a lot of that. Their employees are free to use their own devices. We manage all of the handling and normalizing and, of the data. And then we help them engage on a kind of abstract level, which is about the employees' wellness goals. So how they are doing against their goals and changing the conversation to from the employer asking, how can we help you achieve your wellness goals? So that's a really interesting area. The example I gave earlier in terms of like next generation medical device companies wanting to understand how to use the cloud in a technically compliant way given the nature of the data that they're, you know, collecting and the processes they have to go through for certification and all that kind of stuff. We're helping out there. And all the way into kind of more fun things like indoor spinning classes that have a you know, technology at the heart of what they do, where they're projecting real-time you know, data and creating like game mechanics around the data of the activity that's being done. So all sorts of things in that area. It's really exciting.
It's great. Where can people find you here on the floor if they want to know more?
We have a stand over in the sort of in the middle, the startup area, which is where I'm happy to, you know, demo or explain more deeply into any of the aspects of the platform.
Great. Thank you so much, Steve, for being here with us.
Welcome.
We'll turn it back over to Mr. Garcia, and I forgot what the next company is, but he knows.
You can go.
Indeed, indeed. Oops. I don't know. No need of.
Okay. So the next startup has a very pretty amazing technology. So welcome on stage, Ben from EYESIGHT Technology.
Thank you.
So Ben, please introduce us your company, your technology.
Yes. Actually, I'm from an Israeli company. I'm named EYESIGHT. I'm the VP sales, and it's very good to see everybody here. And this is the video of introduce or one of our product is the IoT product that named Single Q. Actually, this only launched last year in October in the US market. You can easily find it and buy it from Amazon.com. Actually, this is a new technology we use. Our core technology is actually we are computer vision company. We use the hardware and software embedded together to control all the home complements. So you can see we can control the TV and also some light. You can see the easy to use a sign to mute the speaker and choose from the different. You can see the light, control the light, and also can control some air conditioning. So, okay, this is the video, and I don't know what you can ask.
Yeah, have a seat. Pretty amazing, but it seems that you are in the market already, right? I mean, there are TVs that are in the market. Yeah, your product is in the market.
Yeah, our product actually, that's more, I'm sorry, I should bring some here, but we have a booth there. Yeah, this is our product. Yeah, this is the product.
So how many customers was your traction right now? Because I think that you are a little bit more advanced than the other startups that we have here.
Yeah, about single queue, we have several thousand already. But we are, before that, we have embedded per software solutions. For example, I give you a number. In year 2014, we have more than 20 million devices shipped to the market with a gesture control.
Okay, 20 million. So my question is, are you really a startup? I mean, why are you in this conference of startups?
Yeah, we are not a startup, but for the IoT market, we are startup.
Okay.
Yeah, in the past, we only present software, but now we software and hardware embedded. With single queue is the first hardware product of our company. So we are a startup.
Okay, so in the IoT space, what is your go-to-market strategy?
For the go-to-street, the strategy is a very good question. Actually, we're working on that. And for now, the strategy for us is 3 main product line. The first is you can see the IoT stuff, the single queue. The second is we are looking for some new corporate big OEMs for automobile industry that in-car gestures. We already have some successful POC. And the third is we are focused on VR. So we are we have to do some VR controlled, gesture controlled VR devices, and the POC is done. Okay.
So your technology there are different solutions close to the gesture recognition. What makes unique your technology? What is different from others? Is better performance, it's much more accurate? What is your uniqueness thing?
This is also another very good question. We are not only doing gestures. What the main core technology of us is we can, through different kind of sensors, for example, the RGB CMOS sensor or 3D sensor, we do not choose different sensors. We do not make the hardware. But we can, through these sensors, we can analyze what the object and follow the object, tracking the trigger them. So this is our core technology. So we can do some face recognition. We can do finger. We can do hands. We can do skeleton. We can do even the chair or table here. If we can do all the computer vision accuracy. So this is the core technology of us.
So if I understand correctly, you are saying that the gesture recognition itself is not something that makes us different, but these sensors that you are putting around your products, they're able to recognize what people is doing. This is the value added? This is what you are saying?
Yeah, we do. Sorry, my mistake. We do not do all the sensors. We can buy it on the street or but use different sensors. We can do all the sensors limitation can do. For example, if the sensor can sense 10 meters, we can within 10 meters. All the in the FOV, we can all the objective collected into the image. We can analyze. It's no problem.
Okay, you were describing before your go-to-market strategy for IoT, and 3 different ones. How are you planning to make money? You're gonna sell the hardware. You're gonna license. It depends, probably in different channels. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay, for the IoT, we now only have one product, is single queue. For the single queue, we have actually as the plan is to sell online, for example, through Amazon.com. And we plan in next 2 months, we will launch in mainland China market. Probably will cooperate with the JD.com. We're already working on that. And this is one channel, and another channel is through the traditional channel. And this is one thing. Another thing is we start with cooperate with in the US market. We cooperate with direct IT. So, for example, the big operators, even some big name I cannot mention here, and they want to use this single queue under their name and gave this consumers for free, because they want to use through this single queue to collect big data to benefit their customer and benefit themselves.
Okay, so which are the main challenge for the company right now? I mean, is more technology, is sales channels, is what are the challenges? There is always challenge. What are the current ones?
The biggest channel is our product is must be accepted by the end user. I mean, from very beginning, the end user doesn't used to use untouched technologies. They used to touch the screen, and if you use the hand, you're just doing like this. They're not used to that. It will be do something very wild. But ours, you can do it very gentle and very smooth movement. For example, you can sit in your couch in the living room, 5 meters away from your television. You do it like this. It's very easy to control the volume of the voice and change different channels. You just click your finger, no matter left hand or right hand. For example, someone, your boss call you, and the phone ring, there's their TV there, you just mute. It's very easy. So it takes time to learn. Maybe 1 or 2 weeks, maybe several days. So this is our big challenge. We need to do more marketing events or videos to show the new technology, what it can bring to the life.
Yeah, are you tracking your current customers, how much they are using the device? Because I have to be honest, I think my Samsung TV, they have some kind of gesture recognition. I never use it. But I'm sorry, but it's maybe because you used to do it in a different way. So I think that this challenge that you are describing, like, is the market adoption of the technology. Do you have some metrics, some information about your current customers, if they are using every day, if they are not using? Do you have some information about that?
Yes, so far we now start to collect this kind of information. Actually, because the big carrier, probably they have this information. The big data is money nowadays. So we try to find a way to cooperate with them to get this information. This is definitely, just like what you said, is very important to us to improve the user experience. Thank you.
But any plan to that? I mean, any marketing campaign or something for people to understand that there's a different way to manage your TV? Or I think sometimes one of the issues of these new technologies is not about technology, it's about people really feel comfortable doing things in a different way that you have been doing the last 30 years, right? I have been doing 30 years this, now doing this. Well, it's very easy, but sometimes humans are not easy to change, right? Any idea to change this or to change the behavior of people, right? It's a big challenge.
Yes, exactly. This is our shortage, actually. The people used to do with the IR remote controller to control the TV, to control the air conditioning, but they forget if you just raise your hand, it's easy. You no need to find different kind of IR remote controller. You just raise your hand and just click, it's everything done. We have got feedback from some of the customers. They said, this is a wonderful product. But someone, they say, oh, this is a no use because I used to that, I forget that. You are totally right. This is our big challenge.
Okay, time is up. From now, I'm going to try to use my Samsung TV and I'm going to try to use my gesture. Okay, thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you, my pleasure.
All the best. And now welcome on the stage the next startup.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Again, amazing stuff and inventions and technologies right here, even as we sit on the sidelines watching. And all day long, been talking about technology that enhances or utilizes our five senses more in the virtual reality world and AR world and whatnot. Someone's waving at me? Just a second, you mean? Okay.
You can start, Joseph. We don't need slides.
We don't need it. Yeah, we can talk all about it. But let me just continue on. There's a lot of advancements in senses and whatnot. Visual, audio, we are very aware of. We talked about touch earlier today. But how about the sense of smell, which is also known as olfactory? And from ARYBALLE Technology, he is the CEO and co-founder of ARYBALLE Technologies. He's going to talk all about this and the new device that is out there that is amazing. Please welcome to the show, it's Tristan.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joseph.
Yes.
So, quick introduction, and so then we can discuss about the technology. So, my name is Tristan Roussel. I come from Grenoble in France, and so I'm a co-founder of ARYBALLE Technology. So, the objective of the company is to develop the first universal and portable odor detection device. So, there are many applications that you can think of in the industry, but also for consumer product in the field of environment, quality control for flavor, fragrances. The dog nose is actually a big issue, but it will be for further development for us. And we are focused on one application in the medical field, which is called anosmia. It is the loss of the sense of smell. People who cannot smell, so we are going to develop this device so that they can have access to the information. So this is what we have right now, the prototype. So I brought one with me, which is working. And by the end of the year, early next year, it will be roughly this size. So both for anosmia and also for industrial application. So it's a group of entrepreneurs, pluridisciplinary, as you can imagine. This is a combination of biotechnology, biochemistry, optics, electronics, IT. So a good team, including Cyril, who is with me on the booth today. So I don't think it's the good version of the slideshow, so I will accelerate. They put the long one. Sorry, the 2 years of development, and that's about it. So I'm not going to get through all of this. Sorry, it's not the good version. Thank you. Shall we start the discussion?
Yes. That's a good overview.
Thank you.
So yes, Tristan, have a seat, and we will get to the details of all the slides that you just kind of passed by quickly right there, because this is amazing. We are challenging the sense of, again, smell and taste at the same time. Is that something that you're also developing? On
taste, right?
Yeah, on taste.
Yeah, well, you may know that olfactory includes everything that goes through your nose, but also through your mouth. And taste, per se, is only salt, sweet, and sour, the tongue.
Yes.
But the rest is olfaction.
It is olfactory, yeah. Now, so in essence, this is sort of like an electronic nose, if you will. This is the prototype that you brought right here. It actually works. It collects odors, smells, and you guys build a database. How large is that database right now, and what's the future of it?
Yeah, so the challenge for this technology is to be able to develop a universal sensor, one sensor for any kind of smells. And so the first thing we did back 2 years ago, was to start with 30, 40 odors, but from very different chemical origins. So they are all volatile organic compounds, odorant, but very different chemical origin. And so right now we have more than 200 molecules, so pure molecules, but also real tests that we did on the field, at home and outside home. And we did thousands of different tests.
Like you said, this is a combination of biotechnology and components, electronic components and sensors and whatnot. The first type of smell that most people would think of are odors and gases, correct? But this technology actually goes beyond that. We're talking about even fragrances and smell of food and floral
yes, absolutely.
smells as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the industry, they have been developing gas sensor for many years, especially for dangerous gas.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot produce a dangerous gas if you don't have a sensor, but they are all very specific. one for explosive, one for very aggressive gas. But this technology is developed mimicking the nose. And so this biotech layer, so it's actually an optic prism on which we spot biochemical compounds, is inspired from the proteins that we have in the nose and that do detect molecules as the sensor part.
So the immediate application that is practical right now, there's a lot of medical applications that are probably very important. Like you said, the disease of losing the sense of smell, anosmia.
Yes.
And what else? And detection of pollution and maybe hazardous gases and whatnot. Correct?
Yes, exactly. The first clients, so we signed a partnership for the medical application of our technology, loss of the sense of smell, and also for further down the road, the medical diagnostic, because there is about a dozen of diseases. And here in Taiwan, I was told last night that it's traditional that the doctor, they use their nose in Chinese medicine, right?
Yes.
And so this is what this can do as well, because it can diagnose some disease from breath, from urine, from even sweat to some extent. That is a way to diagnose, and it's non-invasive, it's very easy. So, of course, it has to be developed during a clinical trial. It will take a long time, but this is another option, which is medical diagnostic. And then in the industry, to start with, environment with olfactory pollution, bad odors coming from chemical plants or waste treatment, so it's working well. And quality control for flavor and fragrances production, but also for food, industrial food.
So the applications can be for entertainment and fun purposes as well. And the technology is quite amazing. I mean, there's a lot of sensitivity that needs to be implemented right here, but also the database of smells and senses and odors needs to be built up. And so that's something that you guys are working on right now.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the more users there will be, the more data there will be in the database as any other database connected sensor. But it's also, but that's why we start in the industry, because in the industry you have a lot of experts. It's not easy to qualify a smell. So, but if you work with a specialists from the flavor and fragrance industry, they know everything. So when they use this sensor, they also build up the database with very good quality annotation of signals, So we start there. People who have anosmia, they cannot help us developing the database because they don't smell. So we have to do it for them.
Right. So the future of this, I mean, right now this is the prototype, but I know you also have another device that is a little bit smaller in size, actually a lot smaller in size, more handheld. But eventually, you're also looking at even medical purposes, like you said. It could be a synthetic nose, perhaps.
Well, two things. So maybe future is also consumer electronics. You said entertainment. That is one, but for sure there is a big demand to put this kind of sensor, which will be about this size, in fridges. The big demand from fridges to anticipate the degradation of food, food spoilage. But also in an oven, when you're doing cooking, you want to optimize a recipe, or even in a hood. So there is a lot of demand from the home appliance, smart home, smart city as well, to monitor and to better handle waste management, for instance. When it comes to anosmia, when it comes to treatment, it's another difficulty. But it happens that for sight blindness, now they are able to stimulate directly
images.
Okay, the optic nerve. So to some extent, if we now that we have access to the data, we can record, just like the camera does. Maybe we will be able to stimulate. We'll see, but it's quite challenging.
That's a different process, technology, of course, to actually create the sense out. But right now, it's identifying is what the main purpose of this apparatus right now. Is this, as far as the cost goes right now, is it commercially viable at the cost of it? I mean, it's still high in cost.
Well, I mean, there has been a lot of demand, so we could sell prototypes, but more as evaluation kit, That was this year, essentially, end of 2015 and 2016. Early next year, we should have a viable three categories of product. The first is the anosmia. It should cost a few $100. The professional version is quite expensive because it's more robust, okay, but that's for professional. And when it comes to consumer electronic, and I think we will be able to reach it for roughly $50, $60, we can sell the sensor alone so that they can plug it in a fridge or another appliance. So it's quite expensive for a sensor, so it's more for high-end products, but apparently it's compatible with what they want to do.
Yes, and I understand there's more development in identifying the amount of smells right now. Right now what you have is already amazing, but for instance, dogs,
yes,
their senses of smell are much more high and sensitivity.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something you guys are also trying to advance?
Yeah, well, I mean, the idea was to launch a rupture technology to define a new standard. And if we can launch it, if the first clients are satisfied, then we will have sufficient resource to improve the technology years after years. There is 10 years of development ahead of us if we want. We just have to find the good application for the first client so that they are happy. So the dog nose is great. It's about 10 times more specific than the human nose and 100 times more sensitive. So it's our next goal, but it will take another 3 or 4 years. There is a lot of demand, of course, for everything that concerns the dog nose.
Yeah, I see thousands and thousands of applications because of that. You know, dogs, canines now usually try to sniff out narcotics or even used in crime busting and whatnot. And this might be of help in the future in that field as well.
Yes, and they can even recognize people.
And recognize people, exactly.
Yes, which is amazing, but
smell, yeah.
That's very futuristic, but yes.
Yes, indeed. And what you need to is have more and more people use this because when I went to your booth yesterday, I said, oh, this is kind of like Shazam for music.
Yes.
You know, we use Shazam, right? And you hold it up to a song, and I'm a DJ, so I use that a lot. I'm like, what song is this? And you know immediately, this is kind of like that. You hold it to a scent, and it will tell you what is it.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the idea. Shazam of odors.
Of odors, yeah. The Shazam of odors is right here by ARYBALLE Technologies. It is amazing. Thank you so much, Tristan, for your time
Joseph.
right here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'd like to invite Angel Garcia back on stage again. I believe he's going to be introducing our next startup, SIMPLEACCESS, right here. Welcome.
Thank you. So welcome on stage, Joab, from SIMPLEACCESS.
1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, thank you. So hello, I'm Yoav, the VP of Marketing of SIMPLEACCESS, an Israeli IoT company. What we develop is Controlli, a universal remote mobile application. It's basically a mobile application that enables you to control all the smart devices in your home using a single app. We have several special features in our product. The first one is regarding user experience. We have a personalized app, meaning you can decide how you control your devices in your home. We have a social aspect, meaning you can share your unique control experience with your friends and family. We have a special technology, a self-serve integration system that allows IoT device manufacturers to integrate their devices themselves with our product. And this specific integration system can reduce the time to integrate from hours or days to several minutes, which is quite important. Our marketing strategy focuses on brand and virtual controller, which basically means white label brand controllers, and I'll talk about it maybe later. And our business model relates to a personalized product recommendation system. We will offer recommendations of retailers' product to our users based on their behavioral profiles that we see using our data in our app. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yoav. You are from Israel, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the company. When you started, how many people are you right now? You raise funds, you have customers?
We started officially on May 2015. We're four founders. The product that we're currently doing, we started roughly 6 months ago. We pivoted, at the start. We're currently in our seed stage. We're looking for funding. We're in a closed beta. We have We're doing now 25 users, and then we open to 2,000 users. And next month, we're doing an open beta. We're beginning an open beta in Israel. And this is our first startup. And we're currently in talks with one of the biggest electronic appliances retailers in Israel. And we really want to close a pilot with them. So this is our main channel right now. We're focusing on retailers and creating a partnership with them. And that's it, if you have any more.
Okay, so 2015 is a little bit more than a year now.
Yeah.
How many times you have iterate? I mean, if this is the original idea, did you change it or?
No, it's not the original idea. The original idea was controlling PCs remotely using your phone. And we did that, and we thought, wow, it was great. And we also did something special. We enabled you to record keystrokes and then to your mobile phone. And then you can do with one key inside the app, do thousands of actions, like macros. And then we said this specific application can be also applied to IoT devices because people want to do automation, all kind of action using a single command. And we also understood that every IoT device had a specific application. If you had the Nest thermostat, you need his application. If you have Philips Light, you need Philips Light application, etc. So if you'll have 10 smart devices, you'll need 10 applications. And we thought this thing that we did could be really, really good and important for this kind of industry and solve the problem of using too much applications for controlling your home. So that's how it started.
How do you see the market? Because I think that we have been talking about these connected homes or smart homes. I think I remember when I was at high school, I mean, people were talking about domotics and trying to control everything at home. That was a long time ago. And maybe 5, 6 years ago, we started to talk about smart homes, home appliance connected. It seems that it's something that is coming, but it's not yet here, right? I mean, we might ask how many people have more than 5 devices connected at home. How do you see the market going forward?
Okay, so I have 2 things to say about it. The first one is even if you have only 5 devices, only 3 devices, you need 3 different applications, and you can automate them, and these devices, I'll bet, cannot talk together. You can get them talking together. So our application is also good for this kind of use cases. You have 3 devices, 5 devices, etc. Now, as we see the market, it's actually like one of the pivotal years, it seems, like 2016, 2017, because players like Google and Samsung and Philips are spending a lot of money in creating home devices, specifically focusing on consumer products for home devices. And the 2 major things that we see, like the trends, are home security. People, especially in the United States, really, really want home security cameras and locks, etc. And also, what is especially important is thermostats, smart thermostats. I think in 2015, almost 40% of all thermostats sold in the United States were smart. So we see a very, very high adoption rate. So as we see it, the first thing that will be adopted is home security, smart cameras, smart locks, etc. The next one, it will be thermostats. And then you will start seeing more, let's say, more unneeded devices like smart lights, etc. But I think in the next 2 years, the boom will happen because people are ready to try it, and the protocols are beginning to coming together. Like you can create an app like we created. You cannot create it 5 years ago. So I think it's a really, really good time for the market that we're in.
Okay, so there are some companies in your space doing things close to you. I mean, I personally invested in a company doing something like this 2 years ago. We can also see the big guys like Samsung buying smart things.
You've got Alibaba buying paying Peel $50 million.
So what's your strategy to beat these guys? What's the unique thing that you have?
So
I see some special difference, probably things in the business model, trying to do these recommendation things.
That's
How are you going to fight with these guys?
Actually, I can tell you that we have a unique user experience and unique technology, but I don't know if you think about it in barriers to entry, maybe it won't be sufficient to beat the competitors because if you have budgets like Samsung, etc., they can probably get something that is pretty similar. So what we did is trying not to focus on consumers on the first end, not trying to create a channel to them at first, but going to retailers. Meaning, we want to create for retailers white label branded controllers in our apps, so retailers can sell their products to their customers and give them controlling with their branded controllers there. So when people come back to their homes, they can control their devices using our app, but with a branded virtual controller of the retailer. So we believe that retailers really want this kind of product because it will enable them to differentiate their brand at their customer home. Because if you buy a TV from Walmart and you buy a TV from Best Buy, once you get home, the differentiation between the brands ends because it's the same TV, it's the same way you control it.
But let me understand this, because if you are saying that if I buy a TV from Walmart, I'm going to have a Walmart branded application.
We're not going to have a Walmart branded application. Our application works like this. You have virtual controllers, meaning each controller controls what you want.
Okay.
So the controllers themselves will be branded for them, but users can still use our basic features for controlling. For example, they can create their own personalized products without the branding. But we'll give retailers a reason to give our product to customers. And we think that retailers will have a much, much, much better channel of distributing the app because they give it to people once they buy the device. And this is the moment you want to give someone an application like that is the moment that he buys the TV, the moment he buys a smart light. Not once he in his home and he's got used to the app and he understands how the UI works, etc., and then you need to replace it. But you exactly want to get to him once he buys the device. So that's how we think we can beat those guys, because they focus on consumers.
Yeah, okay. So you are in a beta version right now, or when are you planning to have the final product ready?
Actually, the final product is ready.
Well, it's never,
fully,
right?
Exactly. It's fully functional. Actually, we have a demo upstairs because COMPUTEX had some technical problems at our booth. But we have a demo upstairs. It's fully functional, but we haven't tested it with users as much as we would like to. So, as I said, on July, we do an open beta in Israel, meaning it's released for every user. And in January, we are planning to release it completely. But as you said, it will never be.
Okay. So once you have the pre-final product ready, what's your go-to-market strategy? You were mentioning about using the retailers. So your goals is to try to get retailers on board.
Exactly. So all of our efforts are going to create a sales team. That what it does, it goes to retailers, especially large-size retailers who are fighting for differentiation. Best Buy want to differentiate themselves with other consumer electronic products, and they do pretty much everything to do it. They have a branded app, and they have a branded website, and their stores look different. But once they give consumers their products, the branding ends. So we actually believe that we can give them a tool that can keep the differentiation alive, that can keep their brand differentiation at their home. And we know from what we tested in Israel when we talked with retailers that it's something that especially large-size retailers really want. They want to be able to be in people's home, in people's phone, and that people will see their brand all the time. And they know that this company does not only provide for me the product, but they provide me the control experience. So we think this will be the best go-to-market.
Okay. So I just got the notice that we are running out of time. Just final question, I mean, probably not about the company, but about the conference, the InnoVEX. Was useful for you? Was interesting?
Wow, COMPUTEX was, I haven't slept in 3 days, so you can say it was, we actually met a lot of big companies that are interested in products like us. So if I think about it in business cards-wise, so it was very successful, but we'll have to see in the next few days.
The outcomes, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. You have
thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we are approaching the end. It's just one last startup, last but not least. So Josh, welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Angel. All right, thank you, Angel. And we have our next guest, Fred from Block Wearables. This is an exciting company. They raised $1.6 million through Kickstarter through a crowdfunding campaign. And he has a modular watch, but I'll let him introduce it.
Hi, nice to meet you. So, good afternoon. We are Blocks. We are building the world's first modular smartwatch. So hopefully most of you have heard about us. What I'm trying to do here is to show you the real product. We have this coming out of Kunshan just 1 week ago. This is our DVD version. So the final product will look probably exactly the same. So you can see here, we have 6 different modules. So this is really small. So after this talk, we can go down and we can see it like up front. But this 6 module is a heart rate sensor, a GPS, extra battery, environmental sensor, which is humidity, temperature, and pressure, a programmable button, and a flashlight. And all of these modules are easy to plug and play, very simple. And then you put it back in. And they're really endurance. I just carry this and run outside. It's IP68 level of waterproof. So it's totally okay in the rain. So what we can do is, apart from all these modules, you can also have a strap-only version. So I'm taking this off. So if there's a certain day you don't want to have a lot of modules with you, what you can do is you can plug this strap-only version in. Then this is a very simple standalone smartwatch. Just like Apple Watch, Samsung Gear 2, LG Urbane, just this core with a strap is going to do as much as they can. We're running on a next generation Qualcomm chip, 8009, so our power consumption is 1/3 less than the current LG Urbane, let's say. And with the extra battery, our power is nearly unlimited. And yes, look at the core. This is just like any other smartwatch, just the core. And the modules is only going to make it a lot more powerful. What we're trying to do is we're trying to build an open platform for hardware, so anyone can come in and create these modules with new functionalities and features with us.
All right, thanks for that introduction, Fred. So we just have a few minutes. This is an exciting product for me. I actually hate wearing watches, but I'm excited about this watch. It's really interesting to me because I do a lot of running. I run with a GPS watch. I run with a Garmin watch, and I have problems with battery life. Your watch is hot swappable, so I can swap in new batteries while I'm out running. I don't have to worry about the battery running out. It's got GPS. It's got all these features that I want, but it's also an Android watch. It runs on the Android operating system, that's correct. And so this is a really interesting offering for me because it solves a lot of problems that I deal with, which are very special problems that only apply to trail runners, but there are other issues that apply to everybody or other audiences. Why is it so important for a smartwatch to be modular like this? Why did you go in that direction?
So I would say most smartwatch on the market right now, they're toys. People buy them and pay with them, and 3 months later they throw them away. Because smartwatches are not as powerful as our smartphones. Because of their size, the battery, the limited battery power, they can only do so much. But imagine if you have a smartwatch that you can add any modules on top. And these modules, they can be anything. So that means you can have 10 times, if not 100 times more hardware features for this device. That means this can be 100 times more powerful than a smartphone. Then some of these modules will be really essential. And this will not be a toy anymore. This will be an essential, necessary product. Just like how Apple opened up the App Store, they allow for thousands of developers to create millions of applications. What we're trying to do here is we allow software and hardware developers to come in and create this ecosystem with us. So we're going to disrupt the market just like how Apple disrupted the application market.
Great. So tell us a bit about the company. How many people do you have working with you?
So we have 20-something people spread around UK, US, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. And we are moving a lot of our engineering team to Taiwan because we want to be close to our ODM company. So Taiwan is going to be our second home.
And you raised the 1.6 million on the Kickstarter campaign. And by the way, there are only about 160 companies that have ever raised over $1 million on Kickstarter. This is one of those companies, so that's a unique achievement.
Yes.
And have you raised other funding as well?
Yes. So we are really lucky. Because of our supporters and ambassadors, we reached that amount. Because that makes us the second biggest smartwatch campaign ever, only after Bravo. I think we are 2 times bigger than Misfit for crowdfunding campaign. We are working with a few notable VC in US, include Plug and Play. Like in France, we have Hardware Club. Also, Bobby Usandi, who is a very, very successful US VC. But we just started our what we call Seed Plus round. So we are talking to more investors right now. So so if there's any investor here, feel free to come and talk to me.
Now, where can people buy the watch if they want to buy it?
So you can go to our website, choosblocks.com, CHOOSEBLOCKS. And we are doing a pre-order campaign which gives you huge discounts. It's $330 for 1 core plus 4 modules. So you can see the core. Just as I mentioned, they are a very powerful standalone smartwatch, just like Apple, Samsung, anyone else. So for final retail price, we are going to do $280 for final retail. And our individual modules, they'll cost between $40 to $70. So if you think about it, 1 core plus 4 modules, $330 is really a bargain. Getting it right now, and the deal is not going to last. We are going to take down that discount and going to change it to a much more expensive price soon.
Now, one of the great things about your watch being modular is that you do have these batteries that you can switch in and out. So if you have an Apple Watch and the battery runs out, you have to go plug it in and you have to wait for it to charge. But with your watch, you can carry around a spare battery or 2 or 3 spare batteries, and then when the battery runs out, you just plug that battery in and you let the other battery charge while that one is running, right?
Exactly. So imagine if you are a long-range runner, just like Joshua, or if you are going on travel, going on holiday, the one thing we don't want is to take a really big charger with us going everywhere. What we want is a watch that will never run out of power. And Blocks is your product. Because Blocks, apart from a 300 milliamp core, that will give you 1 to 1.5 days of battery life, we have what we call extra battery. This extra battery modules is going to provide you with 100 extra milliamp hour. So together, they can extend it to 2 days, or depending how you use it, even more than 2 days. And when the extra battery modules run out, you simply replace it with a new one. You never run out of battery.
Great. Now, there are other modules that anybody can develop a module that plugs into your watch, right? So what are some ideas of modules that you think we might see in the future?
So we have a lot of the general one, like touchless payment, 3G SIM card, all sorts. But what we're really interested in is we want to get sensors and modules ideas from you guys that we have never heard about before. Just like a smell sensor. You never see a smell sensor on any smartphones or smartwatch device. You probably have never seen air pollution sensors on any of these devices before too. And I'm sure you have never seen a radioactive level sensor. But because we are modular, you can easily put those sensors into our module and you can make them work. So we are a solution, both for B2B and B2C. If you have some sensor you want to try, if you have a demand for certain problems, you can always solve it with our platform using just these modules. And we want to hear things that we have never heard before. Something totally new, something totally unexpected.
Great. Well, your booth is right over there. If you want to try the watch on, see it in person, handle it, you can see the watch there. You can pre-order it there. And then you said chooseblocks.com is the website if you want to learn more. Thank you so much, Fred, for being here with us today.
Thank you, Josh.
And with that, we'll wrap it up. And that's the end of our demo today. I'll pass it back to our MC.
All right. Thank you, Josh, Joseph, and Angel, and 9 amazing teams from Global Start. If you would like to know more about Global Start or the demo team, please go and visit their booth right next to the main stage.